And thank you very much for joining us. I am Yuri Folari. Well, as you know, the campaign season is, just about opening. In a week, it'll be proper for people to come out and tell us, what they have in mind via the political campaigns for elections into various offices, ranging from the presidency right down to, even state, local government, state government, state House of Reps ideas. Now, what is going to be informing the content of the campaigns, or what is going to be formulating those campaigns? Maybe that's what we can begin to find out. And let's ask from some people who, quite frankly, are in the forefront of it. Because take, for instance, Philip Agbese. He's our guest this morning. A fine morning to you. He's the APC House of Representatives candidate to represent Ado-Okpoku, Ogbadibo, our federal constituency. A fine morning to you, Mr. Philip Agbese.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Indeed, it is our pleasure. Now, on the subject matter, I imagine you would have given it a fair bit of thought. What do you think is going to be forming campaign ideas this time around? Is it what we have always been doing, or do you think we're in a different situation, dispensation slightly, and therefore the campaign, the way the campaign shall be going, might be different? Give me your thoughts on what you think is going to be forming campaign ideas in about a week's time, when the floodgates, so to speak, will be open.
Thank you very much for having me this morning. I want to say that first, we must commend the Independent National Electoral Commission for implementing the timelines of the 2022 Electoral Act, which was signed on the 25th of February this year, solely for the purpose of conducting the 2023 general elections and other elections that will come after it. Just yesterday, the Independent National Electoral Commission published the list of candidates for the election, the national candidate, presidential candidate, House of Representatives candidate, and the Senate. That's actually a very good one. They've been able to demonstrate clearly that they are ready for the conduct of the election, and Nigerians are upbeat. People are expecting that we'll have the best election in 2023. In terms of the issues that will shape the campaign for 2023, I will be speaking for my party, the All Progressive Congress. And as we have all seen, the various political actors, presidential candidates, and the candidates of other political parties have made very key and sensitive appointments, which in no doubt will shape the issues that they intend to discuss in the next few weeks ahead. For us in the APC, just about a week ago, our presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, appointed Governor Yaya Bello as the national coordinator of youth for the campaign organization. That is to tell you that he has something for the Nigerian youth, and Governor Yaya Bello is someone who has performed very well in Kogi State in terms of security. He has equally done very well in the area of youth empowerment. So for Asiwaju to be thinking in that line, it shows clearly that our party, the All Progressive Congress, has something for the youth of Nigeria, and we have something to do in terms of security and empowerment of the people. For the other political parties, we haven't really seen much of that coming from their end, except for the People's Democratic Party that has been bedeviled with the issue of Wike and Atiku. So we can't really say much of what we expect of the People's Democratic Party unless they put themselves together. So for now, the All Progressive Congress, which is my party, seems to be the only party, that is ready and willing and looking at something to deliver, to the Nigerian people. And that we have seen in terms of the appointments that have been made at the national level, the constitution of our campaign council, the spokespersons, and the things that they have been saying. You can see clearly that for the APC, it's going to be about the Nigerian state and the Nigerian people, and the various components, the issues, that the Nigerian people are looking at. So far, so good. I think it's a good one. The APC is leading very fine. and we are watching.
And I imagine the electorate too is watching. Now, of course, your constituency is in Benue State, but we're talking about the campaigns generally. And I imagine that there are a lot of things that Nigerians want to hear ideas about. It goes without saying that the economy is going to be leading the terrible state that the exchange rate is in, the inflation, and the general downturn, if you want, in the standard of living as a result of those things, for example. No doubt people want to hear what ideas our would-be political leaders have that would warrant them sending them indeed to go into office. As you know, the inflation is what it is. There's a shortage of everything. Prices are going up. So at least people are going to want to know how this is going to affect them. Is there going to be any respite, or is it going to be more of the same? I imagine that would be something that the electorate would want those presenting to them to talk about. Would you agree?
Yes, very, very important for individuals and groups. It is a fact that globally the economy is in shambles. People are crying everywhere. People are crying in Nigeria. People are crying in the UK and even in the US. That is a statement of fact. And that is why we are happy as citizens that at this point in time, we are having the window, to be able to adjust our ways as a people. So the 2023 general election is presenting to Nigerians the opportunities to choose, who suits the situation. And if you look at the pedigree of some of the candidates that we have today, I will take it from the APC. Our presidential candidate seems to have all it takes to be able to lift Nigeria out of this problem that we're in today as a nation. Looking at his pedigree, his efforts in Lagos, the things that he was able to achieve and how he was able to affect the economy of Lagos State, positively. Today, Lagos is doing fantastically well. There was a time in Nigeria that Lagos State was starved of federation allocation to local government. He was able to use the internally generated revenue of Lagos, to build the state and to develop the state. So 2023 is basically going to be about thinking outside the box for Nigerians. Like you mentioned earlier, the elections will start from the polling units to the local government, to the federal constituencies, and to Abuja. So for us in Ado-Okpoko-Gbadebo federal constituency, the issues we will be talking about will basically be about the education of our children, will be about the welfare of our youths and empowerment. It will be about our women. It will be about health, provision of basic health facilities for our people. And I think these are the things that I represent that I represent. And the reason why I was given the mandate of the All Progressive Congress at the just concluded primaries to represent our people, they've seen in me what I can do. And what I can do as a person must also tally what Abuja can do at the end of the day. So it's going to be a collective effort from the federal constituency to the Senate, to the state, and to Abuja. So basically, issue-based, the issues affecting our country, not just economy, the state of education in the country today, ASU is on strike. Our presidential candidate, when elected as president of this country, I'm very, very sure is going to look critically at what is going on in the educational sector. Not just about federal schools, not about just the universities alone. We'll be looking at critical sectors of education, the things that are going on there, and this must start from the grassroots. That is why primary education is very, very important, because you have to go through primary school to get to college and to the university. So if we get it right at the primary level, at the secondary level, definitely it will be right at the tertiary level. So for now, I won't be able to do much on what our candidate would be delivering in terms of education. And I wouldn't like to talk about what other candidates, since the notion of being biased, but I know very well that our presidential candidate did very well in Lagos, and he's bringing all that he did in Lagos to affect Nigeria positively. And that is exactly what our people are looking at and what they are expecting. And I believe strongly that these are the issues that will shape the voting pattern, the choices that our people will make at the end of the day.
Now, when you say that, this gives me an opportunity to ask this voting pattern that you were speaking about, the extent to which you think campaigns matter. The voting pattern, do you have the idea that it's already set even before anybody goes on any dais to be campaigning? People have sort of made up their mind, or that actually these campaigns, where they are organized, can actually make a difference. Do you think that campaigns, you can sell to the people and get votes that you otherwise might not have got if you hadn't come on the campaign field? Or do you think it is that these ideas are usually set? If a person has decided he's going to be voting APC and Philip Agbese, for instance, it doesn't matter what campaign comes from anywhere else. That is already virtually set in stone. What is your idea about the effectiveness or otherwise of campaigns?
No, campaign is very, very important. And that is why in the wisdom of the current Electoral Act, we have a very long span, very long period for campaigns. Campaign is important because it contributes to very healthy democratic growth of every nation. Secondly, yes, I will agree that we have the people I call the core fanatics, people who have already made up their minds, people who have already seen through what we have done in the past, what we have to offer, what they expect that we'll do with our qualities and characteristics, people who believe, in terms of our educational achievements and our disposition as individuals. That aside, we still have another chunk of undecided people who are yet to make up their mind, who really want to see the issues that the candidates are coming up with. People who are not members of any political party. We have these people, they are waiting. We have another set of people, the very young people who just want to be entertained. They want to see artists during the campaigns. We also have the party people who want to participate in the campaigns because they are party people and that is what they do for a living. But I know that a larger percentage of our people, the well-informed people, because even in some part of the country where we think that the people are not informed, they know so much about these candidates. They know the things that these candidates have been able to do in terms of education. They know the things that these candidates have done in terms of youth empowerment. For instance, in my case, in Adokpoko-Ogbadigbo Federal Constituency, our emergence as the candidate of the APC, was not in any way by accident. It is about our pedigree, our interventions in terms of youth empowerment. We've been able to carry the youth along, organize football competition for our people, our relationship with the traditional institution, our peace-building approaches in the community, and quite a lot that we have done in the past. So, and not many persons who are not members of the APC have been exposed to some of these things that we have done because many people do their things quietly, they don't advertise themselves. Okay, like yesterday, when INEC published the list of candidates, the final list of candidates for this election, I've seen people reading through the academic credentials of people, we've seen people talk about our opponents and all of that, So people are really waiting. Nigerians are going to seize the opportunity to interrogate the candidate, to interrogate the policies and programs of the political party for the Nigerian people come 2023.
Okay.
And I think
that will be at the debates.
At the end of the day,
it'll be at the
all this will form. Yes.
It'll be at the debates, I imagine, that they'll be able to interrogate some of those ideas because campaigns, as you know, rarely allow for talk back from the audience. Usually it's a well thought out presentation.
No.
Debates.
Nigerians still engage people. No. Debates are very fine. We are looking up to debate. Our presidential candidate is also, ready for debates, to debate with other presidential candidates. What I'm trying to say in essence is that Nigerians will still interrogate the policies and programs of these political parties.
Okay.
And that must not necessarily come in a way of an organized setting where people are being asked questions. Today, Nigerians ask questions through the print and electronic media, and the young people ask their questions through the social media. And that is why you have seen that our presidential candidate has appointed, some people that can reflect what he has to offer the Nigerian people. So in terms of debate, you ask questions as spokespersons. Festus Keyamo, they will answer because today they represent the presidential candidate of our party.
One moment, please. I beg your pardon. This just came in. It just came into this desk. Wike's camp withdraws from Atiku's campaign as a sort of a breaking news. A few days to the official date for candidates to kick off campaigns as announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission ahead of next year's election. The team of the Rivers Governor Nyesom Wike in the Port Harcourt, in the People's Democratic Party, has pulled out of the campaign council of the party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. Rising from their stormy meeting earlier today, members of the team vowed not to partake in Atiku's campaign activities pending the resignation of the party's national chairman, Iyorchia Ayu. Governor Wike's allies officially announced its position after a long meeting which began around 7 p.m. last night and ended 2 a.m. this morning at the private residence of Governor Wike in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. As I said, that's just a breaking news that we had to put out as the program is going on now. So that's something of an addition. It doesn't directly relate, perhaps, to what we're talking about now. But I hear what you are saying. The security is also going to be another key point because security arguably has worsened, although depending on the setting of the conversation you're in, you can also hear that it has been improving in recent times. But security is nowhere near the way it used to be before, and I imagine this is also going to be something, apart from, we're talking about the economy, that's a major one. Security too, because it's without security, we can't build anything. Farmers can't go to the farm. So people want to know that we can be safe. And I imagine people are going to have to, all the people that are going to be presenting, all the politicians are going to have something quite solid, something quite substantial and believable to tell the people, because they really will be looking forward. All of us, when I say they, I imagine, we will be looking forward to see if anything decisive can be done about that, right?
Yes, security, like I always say, work in progress. The security of our country is very, very important. And for me, in discussing the security of this country, we must go beyond party lines. Now, our party and as a government, from the point where we took over the administration of this country in 2015, we quite agree that our government has been able to do quite a lot in terms of securing the country, despite the few issues that we've had in the past. Having said that, in the last few months, we have seen our government tackling the issue of banditry. We've seen our government through the Nigerian Armed Forces and combined effort of other security agencies tackling the issue of Boko Haram. Today, Boko Haram practically no longer exists as far as the country. And we've seen political activities taking place in almost every part of Borno State. Boko Haram is no longer in Bauchi State. Boko Haram is no longer anywhere in Adamawa State. We are still dealing with this issue of Abuja-Kaduna Road, and you also will agree with me that after the train attack on our citizens, the recent arrest of Tuku Mamu, and the efforts of the military generally, have greatly helped to stem the tide of insecurity in the Northwest. Our government is going to be building on what we have been able to achieve in the last few years in terms of security. Okay. Like I always say, there are still rooms, for us to improve, especially on the issues of crisis between herders and farmers in some of the communities. My federal constituency, not limited to it. And a couple of times, the actions of our youth, who have been left for a very long time without anything to do, who also engage in criminality. And that's why, as an individual, I believe so much in our youth. I believe in empowering our youth. I believe in creating the right environment and opportunities, for our youth to be gainfully employed. There is no gain anywhere for a young person who is a university graduate to be left without something doing. Even where government is unable to provide something for you to do as an individual, we must force something positive on you so that you don't decide on your own what to do to the Nigerian state.
Okay,
so I strongly believe that our government is going to, by God's grace, we are going to install a very strong team, that will address the issue of security. Recently, I read on the pages of newspaper where even some of our campaign organizations are suggesting, the return of people like General Tukur Yusuf Buratai. These are people, time-tested individuals that if you put them in charge of the security architecture of this country, they'll deliver the right result. We all know exactly what General Tukur Yusuf Buratai did to the Boko Haram crisis in the Northeast, his efforts in the Northwest, and even what he did. It was the time he was Chief of Army Staff that this issue of unknown gunmen was trying to rear its ugly head. And throughout his stay as Chief of Army Staff of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he was able to address, that was the time we had the Operation Python dance, and the Igbos, were celebrating that, they could now visit home during Christmas to celebrate with their families. The Southeast was quite peaceful. So these are the very actors that when we assume the leadership of this country in 2023, our government will be rejigging and bringing these experts on board. I also trust our presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, former governor of Lagos State, for what he did in terms of economic intervention in Lagos. People have said, even his opponents have agreed that yes, he's good at assembling the right team to tackle issues at every point in time. So we strongly believe in his capacity, and that's why the delegates of our party at the last presidential primaries did not hesitate in the landslide vote that they gave to him, which led to his victory at that poll.
Okay, let me ask you, I beg your pardon,
like the PDP.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Agbese, I beg your pardon for interrupting you, but let me ask you about your preparations as a politician. You of APC, and your primary audience are going to, in relation to your quest, which is the federal constituency of Ado Okoku Ogbadibo. What do you think is going to be resonating with your constituency that you are going to need to be addressing, and what are the plans, the preparations, so to speak? First of all, what you think will be resonating with the people of Ado Okoku Ogbadibo federal constituency?
Yes, we have very serious challenges at the moment, and that is why our people have been yearning and pleading, for 2023 to come, in order for them to be able to make some strategic changes in terms of who represent us and what we need as a people. I must give it to those who have occupied the seat of the House of Representatives in time past. They've actually done their best. They've done very well. My brother, who is currently representing us, is also trying his best. But our people are saying that in terms of primary education, their best is not good enough. When we went to the people with our manifesto, we spoke to them concerning our quest, to address issues in primary education. They agreed with us and they said, yes, we align ourselves with this program. That's why I got the kind of votes that I got from the APC delegates in the last election, the last primary election of our party. My federal constituency in Benue South is the largest federal constituency. We have 35 wards in our federal constituency. But basically, there's a total lack of federal presence in my federal constituency. My federal constituency has no federal tertiary institution. It's one of the issues that we are looking forward to address My federal constituency, being one of the largest, has the highest level of youth unemployment. My federal constituency has no economic, has no sort of economic attraction, despite having mineral resources in Ado local government where I come from, where we have a limestone. Nobody is doing anything about it. We are not tapping into that resources. In Ogbadigbo, we have coal in Ogbadigbo. We are not adding anything because these resources, these mineral resources, are not being mined. So, and if we look at mining, it's one area that some developed nations have been able, to improve on their economy, improve on the life of their citizens. For instance, Ogbadigbo local government area everywhere in Nigeria is known for the production of palm wine. Today, nobody is talking about palm wine. People are drinking vodka and making so much money from vodka. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that we must industrialize our federal constituency. It's one of the things. Today, there's no known industry in my federal constituency. So I intend, upon assumption of office by the special grace of God, as the representative of our people, to ensure that I interact, I liaise, and I relate with the federal government and other members of parliament to make sure that we put a major industry in Ado Okpoko Ogbadigbo federal constituency. Oil palm, Malaysia has made so much money, developed their country, they've been able to develop their economy, their educational sector, and virtually everything in Malaysia through the grace of oil palm. We have oil palm, but my people are still locally processing this thing without the effort of government and selling palm oil, instead of us turning palm oil into things that will be able to build and develop the economy of Ado Okpoko Ogbadigbo federal constituency. Okpoko local government area will have similar challenges, and let me say, without shame, that we have the least development in terms of road in my federal constituency. The road leading, for instance, this should be a state effort, but from Otukpo to Ado, from Otukpo to Igumale, from Igumale to Aguila, which is my village, there's no passable, manageable road around that area. And this is something that if we have a representative that is able to interact with the federal government, talk to the necessary agencies, relate with them, lobby and persuade the people. So for us, as a people and as a government, when we come into office, we won't be embarking on benefiting, embarking on programs that will benefit us as individuals. We are going to embark on programs that will benefit the people, programs that will benefit the youth in particular, and our women. And in this area, people can attest to my track record. I've been able to do my little best as an individual, intervening, helping women with the market support program, which I've been doing in the last 4 years, using my little resources to support the women, to be able to empower them to enhance their businesses. So we'll be able to, relate and interact with cooperatives in the 35 council wards of Ado Okpoko Ogbadigbo federal constituency, and even attract foreign development, interact with Ado Okpoko Ogbadigbo people in.
So you feel ready? I guess that's the
mobilize resources to develop the Otukpo library.
Okay, sorry. So thank you very much for giving us an overview of your ideas as to where the emphasis is going to be. You feel ready. You feel ready that in a week's time or so, when the campaign season will be officially open, you're ready. You're ready for whenever it is your turn to speak to the to the public, soliciting their votes. You're ready. You've done your homework.
Yes. Yes, we are ready. We're still a work in progress because we are still constituting our campaign organization, and we have actors, at various levels who are coming in with their ideas. In the last 1 or 2 weeks, I've been able to listen to young people with very beautiful and fantastic ideas, and that is going to shape, they're going to shape our own campaign because people are coming out.
Then. I'm going
the
to have
problems
to
in
Mr. Agbese. I beg your pardon for doing so. I'm so sorry. Philip Agbese, the APC House of Representatives candidate, having just won the primary for the Ado Okpoku Ogbadibo Federal Constituency. Thank you very much, Mr. Agbese, and I wish you the best.